Tension's mounting. There it is. I see a red box. Inside that red box is the word live. I'm consulting amateur host manual, and it says live means we are in fact live.
Woo-hoo.
So I'm still working on that certificate, as you can tell. And hello, everyone. Thanks for joining us. If you love what we do here, check out TalkShop.live to view hundreds of the very best artists who, by the way, have autographed their albums for fans just like you. I've been looking forward to this show for quite some time because this is one of my favorite albums of the year. And I'm not just saying it because I'm the king of hype. I'm saying it because it's from the heart and from the soul. And I'm going to put him to work right away. For those of you that may not know him, although you should, Derek, would you do the honors?
Sure. It's past my bedtime.
Absolutely. Yeah. And we appreciate taking a bullet for the team, so to speak.
Right.
And you know him from 2008 through 2024. Mind blowing to think about it. He's the musical director, lead vocalist, and lead guitarist for none other than the Guess Who, performing a staggering almost 1,000 shows across North America. Truly captivating audience. The man has it. That special something. And now power pop fans, for that matter, all of you fans that simply love great, catchy songs, you're in for a treat. Hooks, harmonies, and heart with a fresh, modern edge, delivering timeless melodies and unforgettable songs. Over the course of his career, interesting to note, our guest has collaborated with a wide range of legendary artists, including Red Rider, Jeff Healey, Alana Miles. I'm a fan of hers. Also, Jolyn Turner, of course, from Rainbow and others. And one of our favorites, a recent guest on the Rock and Roll Channel, Sass Jordan. Just to name a few, his production, performance, and engineering credits are extensive. And tonight, we're celebrating truly a brilliant power pop album, top to bottom. Great songs from Derek Sharp and the Champagne Jam, entitled Crossing the Rubicon. I can say with total conviction, Derek really has the mastery of the most infectious chord progressions and melody lines. And I don't say that often or easily. So buckle up. Let's kick this show off. And if you would, Sam, please roll the video.
All right.
Thank you, Steve. You made it very easy for me.
I was amped up before we rolled that intro. Now I'm over the top, let's say to 12. Why? Because it's one more than Nigel's 11. I'm Steve Harkins, your host from Talk Shop Live on the Rock and Roll Channel, former lead singer, lead guitarist, and musical director of the Guess Who, and also a brilliant power pop magician. And I say that. Please welcome to Talk Shop Live's Rock and Roll Channel, the one, the only, Derek Sharp. Derek, thanks so much, man, for staying up late and for doing this.
Thank you. Oh my God. This is like the shows are usually over by now at this point, you know.
Yeah. No, we're just getting started, my friend.
I'm good.
I hope you're up for it.
Of course I am. Happy
Excellent. Good answer. Where do we find you this fine evening, Derek?
It's been a crazy summer. I thought,
yeah.
You want to hear about it?
I do, man. Absolutely. I am here to hear.
It started on my birthday on March 28th. I thought I was going to have the month of April off to work on the stuff I had to do for the summer. And I got this call to sub in with Triumph on their tour.
Wow.
Phil couldn't make some shows. So that killed my whole month. And because I had to learn all of the material in a week or two and show up and play without any rehearsal. So that was interesting. And then I came back and did it again. And for the first time in years, I actually did shows with 3 different bands in 1 month.
Amazing. It sounds like a Guinness Book of World Records, or at least a Canadian Book of World Records, if nothing else, right?
It did. I finished the Triumph thing, and then I went and did a run with Gowan. You know who that is?
Absolutely. We love Gowan, and he's actually been on a couple of times through Styx, man. We announced their last record here.
Those records are great. I worked on one of them actually. I helped with the mission. I did some
Great
engineering
record.
type work because they're all good friends of mine.
Not surprised.
Yeah, and then I'm playing with Sass this summer. So there's a lot of songs in my head right now.
Swirling around. I mean, you're like a jack of all trades, Renaissance man, so to speak. So with Triumph, what was the window that you had in terms of?
Very short. It was pretty unnerving. It was a lot of material, and everything was not like the record.
Yeah.
So and things changed daily, and it was an interesting ride. But the loveliest, and I mean this from the heart, the loveliest people, band and crew, everybody else, they couldn't have been more lovely. And we rehearsed in the dressing room and went out there in front of all these pyro and sparklers and
Derek, it's not like this was the long-awaited, eagerly anticipated Triumph reunion or anything.
That's hilarious.
Man, dude, you deserve like a badge of honor, at least something extra in your Christmas stocking this year.
I deserve an extra meal or something because
at least.
Anyway, it was a great time. And of course, a couple of the guys are very good friends of mine. Brent Fitz in particular he's one of my best buddies. And so it was great. It was really nice to as much as it was a whirlwind, it was great to play some of that music, and play some double guitar solos with Rick, who's I admire.
Yeah.
Anyways, and then I moved on to playing with Lawrence, whose music that was like a 180. Completely different.
Really good guy, very talented.
Yeah.
As well. So, man, enough about Triumph and Gowan and Sass. Although I love Sass and Styx and Gowan and all of them, this is about Derek Sharp and the Champagne Jam. And I want to remind fans, if you'd like to ask Derek a question or you have a comment, use the chat function. We'll get to as many as we can.
All right.
And Derek, I say this, and I say it loosely. I mean, I'm here in the States, and first allow me to apologize to you and all Canadians. We'll get into that later, but not to make this political. But man, during these contentious times, it seems like the one common thread that we have is music, and so you're not just an entertainer, but whether it's releasing this album, even though you live with it and sat on it, or been waiting patiently for it to come to fruition, sharing it with the fans, or playing through Triumph or Sass Jordan or Gowan, what you do is even more important than entertainment. I mean, I've done the math. The only common thread I can find these days is music that brings people together. It doesn't matter what their religious convictions are or political affiliation, like here in the States. Man, when you set foot on stage or you deliver this great record, you unify people, and it's powerful and it's important, and we need what you do more than ever.
It's funny because for years I used to say that every night on stage.
Is that right?
Oh yeah, the world needs more music, and because nobody's angry when they're listening to music, you don't get into this nonsense. And a lot of it is because we're strapped to these super phones, and and we're inundated with information all the time. But when you listen to, if you take the time to listen to music, which I don't know if people do that anymore, I still do when I want to relax, or I'll just go for a walk and I'll play music. It kind of calms me down, and I think that does it for everybody else. And it certainly happens when you play live in front of people. So I try not to get involved with all of that nonsense. I'm just I'm an old hippie, so
yeah.
And I love
me both. You and me both. We could form a club, my friend.
Yeah. So
congratulations, man, on this incredible power pop album. I don't even like to, compartmentalize, but I love power pop, so I don't
Me too.
feel like it's derogatory. Crossing, the Rubicon, man, you have to be proud. I know you've been sitting on this project for quite some time, but man, you gotta be proud of the final results. You delivered this amazing record top to bottom. The material is stellar. Yeah, your vocals are over the top incredible. The vocal arrangements, I mean, I can go on and on, but these are great pop songs top to bottom. And I don't, it's not trivializing the music. I mean, great songs are great songs. And man, you delivered the great record. And I say that with all sincerity.
Well, there is a bit of a backstory to it. Um,
Yeah,
are you familiar with Plein d'Amour, the record before that?
I am. Although I do have some questions for you on that particular record before we're done this evening.
Sure, no problem. But basically,
Yeah,
because that ended up back in my hands again, we kind of made that record after deciding we were just going to make. I just wanted to make a record of pretty much the music that I really liked, like
right.
from all the influences that I liked. I wanted to put them into one thing instead
Yeah,
of trying to write a hit song or to sound like this or sound like that. It's just we just because we did that before with the other records, but
right.
this Plein d'Amour was more about that. So Crossing the Rubicon was just really a continuation of that. They could be a part one and a part two, really, and
Right.
quite a few of the same people played on it as well. So
Derek, so here's the question. I'm a little confused because Plein d'Amour, the first album, was, I think, released as a Guess Who record, but
it
then it
was
was also right, but then it was also it's also considered Derek Sharp and the Champagne Jam record. So can you kind of explain to me so I could sleep better tonight the
yeah.
distinction?
Oh, it's a very short story.
Yeah,
We put it out. It did really really well, and it got up to almost 2 million streams. And then
amazing.
the original members of the band got involved in this nasty lawsuit,
Yeah.
and which I kind of got out of that. And when the
Specifically with the Guess, it's not to interrupt, but you're talking about for the Guess Who.
Guess Who, and when the
Yeah,
dust settled, they well, how do I put this? They gave all the keys to the store to the other two guys, and
yeah,
the logins to all the YouTube channels and the Facebook and this and
yeah.
that, and they took everything down.
Oh,
Everything,
good.
like all the streaming and all. Well, the streaming we still have, but the YouTube stuff, which we had, a lot of views, so they took it all down. But after that, it just kind of reverted to me, the
Yeah.
whole thing. So I decided we could have kept it as a Guess Who record, but I thought, okay, I'm not going to be back with that anymore. So
Plus you're shut down on all these avenues in terms of like,
yeah, well,
communicating to the masses.
well, here's
So
and they were
right?
all my songs anyway,
Yeah,
and
right.
I did all the arrangements. I mean, it was just as much my record as the new one. I had the band that I was playing with at the time collaborated, and we did it together in the studio,
Yeah.
which was a wonderful experience. But me and my people around me just thought it was a better idea that we do that.
I
So we
think it was
did.
a good thank you for sharing that. And I think, at the end of the day, probably a good move. And because at the end of the day, when we're listening to both records, it kind of sounds like it's an evolution. It doesn't sound like the old school Guess Who. And by the way,
No.
you were, I mean, what lawyers aside, and I'm a huge Guess Who fan, the OGs,
Uh-huh.
as well as the fact that what you did, you were keeping it alive, man, and keeping the whole thing, the legacy alive, but also adding some new energy and kind of making it a little more contemporary, I think, with all of your performances as well as with these albums.
Yeah.
So you just got caught in the kind of the quagmire.
or the Crossfire. Yeah, I mean, but everything happens for a reason, and I'm perfectly fine with that. And I just, you know, I don't get too, you know, I'm trying to stay in the present as much as possible. You know what I mean? Because time's running out.
and by the way, I always say that we try to make this a TMZ free zone, so we're moving on. That's not what my angle is, man. It's about celebrating this amazing project that you put together. How long of a period of time was it for you to assemble, not record, but assemble this great material?
Crossing the Rubicon?
Yes, right.
Well, we were working. I was, you know, we wanted to do a follow up to Plan d'Amour.
Yeah.
The band went off the road, and I had, I think, almost all the songs done. I think I had all the songs done. So we were getting ready to go in the studio again and record it as a follow up.
Got it.
Then, just, you know, one thing led to another, and just you know, a couple of months went by and nothing was happening. And you know, I live up in Canada, and everybody else lived in the US, and it was hard for people to get up here and this and that. So at some point I was just like, okay, I'm just gonna push ahead. And Brent Fitz called me and said, you know, I'm coming to play on it, I don't care. He goes, I'm sleeping on your couch, you're gonna make me a coffee, and we're gonna play music. As this is exactly what happened. and then I had Stan Michek played on some songs, wonderful bass player. Gary Borden played a couple of drum tracks. I had a horn section, Chris Weatherstone and Christian Antonacci, who's my nephew, played it. And I had some guests. Michael Serrato played on one of the songs, and you know, Sass and I did a duet on one of the songs. You know, we did our best, Donnie and Marie.
And you guys nailed it and took it to a whole nother level. Right now, Donnie and Marie are threatening to sue you guys. So sorry not to bring up bad vibes again, but full circle. No, they're not returning my calls. I don't think that's happening. But also some really interesting string arrangements. I'm not sure if it's on the synth or is simulated strings or not. But I love the arrangements of a couple of tracks on it.
So I forgot my wonderful cellist string arranger. I actually arranged the string parts.
Amazing.
Because I did it on Plan d'Amour too with the help of Jason Charbonneau, but Salem Belladonna did all the string parts by herself on cello. So like if you listen to it, it sounds like a string section, but because
it does.
She was gonna get a violinist to play, but they couldn't make. I can't remember what happened, but so I said,
like, oh, I don't want to get involved with the guess who thing that's going on. I'm out.
Well, check this out. So she, you know, it's a string quartet. Like there's 6 parts, so she had to play it up higher, and of course the first violin part on one of them was that's beyond the reach of the stupid cello. So we had to. I said, just play it a fifth down, and I pitched it up.
Unbelievable. I love that.
But you know what? It created this sound that I wouldn't have gotten had I done it with the string quartet like the last time. So I liked it. I liked it so much I just left it. I think there's 4 or 5 songs.
Yeah, that's not cheating, first of all. And I love the fact that it was the you know, a woodwind instrument that you worked with, regardless of, you know, the pitch and everything.
I played some saxophone too.
Yeah.
I played some saxophone.
Amazing. So I'm going on a limb, but saying that you produced this album, but you know what? Did you, when you started with the material, the net result of each song, did it deliver into what you heard in your head when you originally created this material, or did it morph into kind of, you know, did it breathe life and kind of evolve once you hit the studio and started recording?
Well, the songs are the songs. If I played you the demos, you wouldn't notice that much difference.
Yeah, not surprised to hear that.
Happens though is when during the arrangement things take on a new life, and there were songs that took a whole left turn, especially with some of the string stuff and some of the other stuff and the vocal things, because I had this extra time, you know, sitting around for a couple of months. You know, I just started messing around and you know, out of probably boredom to
Yeah.
I want to, okay, I'm going to do this. Now that I have more time, had we have done it like Plan d'Amour, which we did in, 5 days, we just
Amazing.
sat in a studio and just kept playing and playing all day. This went on for a couple of months, and you know, Brent would come up. We spent 2 or 3 days working, and then I did some stuff in my studio, and it was more. It took the process was a little longer this time.
Yeah.
We mixed it in Atmos too, which is a bit of a
Wow.
mind fuck, but
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, if you have the equipment, I bet it sounds pretty incredible, though.
it does. But you have to wear like the earbuds. If you don't have a system, you have to wear
Yeah.
those Apple buds, and you can turn it on, and it looks like it follows you
Yeah.
around.
Or or
And to be
or
honest,
in a theater, you gotta sit in the right seats, you
yeah,
know?
yeah, and I had to sign off on these mixes, and I didn't, to be honest with you, I didn't even know how to comment on it, because when you're doing a stereo mix, you can go, okay, this is too loud, that's too quiet, give me
Yeah.
more of this, give me more of that. But when things are coming from all over the place, I'm like,
Brutal. Brutal. Yeah, taking a bullet for the team, as we say. Hey, man, the album cover art, man, what great imagery, man. Just love the album cover.
yeah, John did a great job. Now, okay, I have to give a shout out to Giannis, because he did the Plan d'Amour record,
Yeah.
and he was gonna do the new one, and sadly he passed away.
Oh,
Right, we had
sorry.
talked about it. I'd sent him the songs. He was ready to work on it, and so John Glenicki, that did the album cover, I sent him an idea of what I wanted that was based on something Ionis would have done. Because I don't know if you know who I'm
So
talking.
so it's in the spirit of kind of the vibe.
Such a great guy, and he was
Yeah,
he would listen to the whole record. He'd comment on the songs, like he was really into it.
that's
So
amazing.
I love that
So
cover.
so do you feel like as best as you can visualize or imagine that you captured the spirit? Seems like it.
Hmm. Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, have you heard? The record hasn't come out yet, right? So there's a bunch of songs that no
It
one's
hasn't. Yeah, that's the beauty of what I do. I get to hear all this stuff before the
heard.
rest of the public, I feel like I'm stealing. But,
S- So there's
yeah,
couple things that are continuations of the last thing, but
right.
it is an album. It was made as an album, even though these days you have to put out track by track by track, and we still do. Eric Loger still does. He's doing all my videos, and we have I think 4 out now. Um,
Yeah, sounds right.
we have more coming down the pike, but yeah, it's meant to be listened to in that order.
Right. In album form.
Yeah.
That's the way music should be heard, I think. I mean, I understand a song, artists who are singles artists focused on a song. That's perfectly fine. But man, top to bottom, this is a great album and it should be listened to as it's sequenced for sure. And I also want to say too that um just kind of taking a little bit of a pivot, not to focus on the negative, but man, you had a hell of a run with the Guess Who, and as you look back, I'm assuming mostly fond memories. I mean, not so much on the back,
Oh,
the back
100%.
end of it, but key takeaways, for all that time that you logged and keeping a legacy alive. It's got to be amazing.
It was a lot of fun. We
Yeah,
had the best time. I mean, we had different lineups. I mean, I played with Jim, Kale for years, and then
right.
he retired, and then Will Evankovich joined, who's now with Styx, and we
Yeah,
we
yeah.
had a
Full
lot of.
circle stuff, right? Gowan and
And then yeah, I mean, it's incestuous. At some point, I think the Guess Who turned into the farm team for Styx, because they started stealing all our people. I
I'm
said
not
it,
laughing at you. I'm laughing with you. Yeah.
but but Charlie and Tommy Shaw, I mean, they're all really good friends of ours, and we
Yeah.
out on
Charlie's a great guy, legendary.
level, so it's all in good fun.
Yeah, I'll throw a few shots at Charlie when I have a one-on-one with him later, no worries. So, really curious about the songwriting process, it's fascinating to me, I mean, my background's working in the music industry, but I started out as a musician. I mean, I played in Chicago. There were so many clubs you could play. You could work in original material with covers and get away with it and play 7 nights a week, and people would stay out until 2 a.m. and then show up to work, Not so much the case anymore, but, my point is that, to try to explain to people and distill how do you the craft of writing a song. If there was a way to explain it to people, there'd be one book and everything would sound the same. It's just not the way it works. But I bring it, kind of present it in two ways and frame it this way. Are you the kind of guy where you're like that vessel and you get like these random ideas where it could be a melody line or it could be a lyric or it could be a riff and you kind of build on it? Or is it kind of like the workshop approach was I'm sitting down today and I'm going to try to knock out things, kind of play around with it and see if magic happens? Or is it a combination of both, Derek?
Gee, that's a hard question to answer because it's so many different things. I
Yeah,
mean, but if I had to sum it up, it depends if I'm writing on piano or guitar or whatever. And what
right.
I'll do is I'll play around on, record it on my phone. And there's a story in my head. Like the song The King, I'd written these words 2 years before that. I had no music to it. And then
Well,
I was listening to 10cc.
yeah,
I don't know if this is interesting, but
it is.
I just started. Can you hear this? I was just started playing these chords in another key, like the king sings song, and I just
Yeah,
it just kind of
yeah,
happened, and it that turned into that, and then other times I'm just sitting with my guitar, and I'll like for songs like I like to mess around with different tunings too,
right.
and I'll tune it into a different tuning, and that kind of opens up a whole other thing, and usually that's what it is. I'll have kind of a melody in my head. I try to write my songs pretty basic to start out with because the fun part is coming up with the arrangements after and
Right.
putting all the bells and whistles in, which is indicative of power pop. You know what I mean? Like having all those,
Really.
like I see these vocal lines like in some of the songs that they're horn sections to me. So I'm like, okay, if this was a big band, how would I arrange that? Well, instead of doing it with horns because I don't have any money to do that, I'm going to do it with singing. And
Yeah.
I think that's what they used to do in the 70s with bands like ELO and Queen and
Right.
bands like that. A very similar thing. It's, I mean, I'm not, I'm not certainly not coming up with stuff that hasn't been done before. It's just
I
to me, it's more of a mixed bag of a whole pile of stuff
eh
that I really dig.
Hey, look, when you go back, as far as you can, all the influential artists were influenced by somebody else, and then they added they put their thumbprints on it and it took it to another level. And so it feels like that's exactly what you did too. There's a lot of influences that I picked up on as a fan of the music that you're delivering, but at the same token, it still feels like when I listen to your vocals, it sounds like Derek Sharp. It doesn't sound like you're mimicking the Beatles or 10cc or the Raspberries or whatever. It sounds like you're still putting your stamp on it. And that's the beauty of this thing is that, you keep perpetuating it, but making it sound original by adding your stamp on it.
Well, everybody sings like them, unless you're a very good imitator, which there's plenty of those people.
That's
Uh,
right.
but yeah, so I think when you do your own thing, and all the people we've talked about, Sass and Gowan and those people, they have very distinctive voices to me, and
Right.
I suppose I do too.
You
I'm not a
do. You
singer,
do.
but
No, you do.
I it doesn't. I don't know what it compares to. I've had a lot of people say it sounds like Jellyfish, but I'll tell you what, we're probably the same age, or I probably am even a
Yeah.
bit older than those guys. So I think that they were drawing from the same influences that I am, which
Totally.
like the late 60s, 70s kind of power pop stuff. No, I
Absolutely.
love Jelly. Everybody loves Jellyfish. That's in the power
Yeah.
pop, but it's a whole. it's like it's more recent. So people of that age refer to them as the power pop band, whereas
Yeah, almost like the originators, right? I mean, as opposed to right, is perpetuating what's
it was
yeah,
Wings, like they had
exactly.
been on the run. I
Man,
remember it was on the radio, right?
totally.
That kind of stuff. So
E exactly right. I wanna go to some of the fans. Regina Renner saying, "Miss you, Derek." Well, don't miss Derek. Derek's right here, so you don't have to miss him anymore. Thanks for being here, Regina. Music heals.
yeah.
Thank you for saying that, Regina, and thank you for the new music, Derek. Amen to that as well. Dean B is saying the album and Plenda More are two of the best albums I've heard in years. Boy, I'm drinking that Kool-Aid for sure, Dean B. Thank you for saying that. And Frank G wants to say, how many albums does this make for you? And I'm not sure if that means two, right? Yeah.
For
Yeah.
this particular project, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Kent E wants to know, what room are you in right now? Is it your home studio? And what's your social security? No, that's in the US. Don't give that out. What is this, your home studio, and what room are you in?
I'm not telling you.
Good answer. I love that, man. Yeah, keeping the
I'm
mystery
on
alive.
I'm on Mars.
That's right. And by the way, folks, we didn't charge a cover charge, so don't get all worked up and upset about this. You know, and Harry wants to, was asking about the writing process, and we kind of addressed that. Nancy D wants to know, how do you describe the sound and the feel of this album? I mean, we kind of get into it, but I don't know. I mean, can you summarize it at all, or do you even step back and try to do that? I think that's probably a challenge.
Yeah, it is, because it's
Yeah.
it's stuff
It's
that
what you do. It's what you do. It's your output.
I really like that comes
Yeah.
out. I mean, I
Yeah.
I know what all the references are,
Yeah.
right? Because everybody does that.
It's for the record industry executives to try to compartmentalize it, which actually hurts the whole thing, instead of allowing you to branch out and do what you do.
I suppose. But it's a different game now.
Yeah,
You
it is.
and that's the other reason we're just like, fuck it, let's just do what we want. You know,
100%.
I'll tell you, when we did The Future Is What It Used to Be, we were Will and I deliberately tried to write songs that had this kind of throwback memory to this era.
Yeah.
We did it in our own way, but it was purposeful. Whereas these two records, it was just like, I don't care if anyone likes it. I hope somebody likes it, but
Yeah.
if they don't, as long as I like it, we'll go from there. And my cat likes it.
Yeah, Derek, everybody I've talked to is worth their weight in salt in terms of like creative, great musicians and songwriters. It starts with, you got to write for yourself, as opposed to trying to project it out and
Mhm.
say, I'm writing for what people might embrace, because it's not true to your soul and what really resonates with you. So it's not real at the end of the day.
For sure. I mean, but
Yeah.
there's a reason to do other things too. Like I've written
Yeah.
songs for other people, with other
Sure.
people, and it's just as much fun. It's just a different
Yeah. It's different.
mindset. This
Uh,
is probably more personal.
Totally. Speaking of personal, I have to say, from a personal perspective, we're celebrating Derek Sharp and the Champagne Jam's forthcoming release, Crossing the Rubicon, featuring 10 instant pop classics. And I say that with total conviction, tracks you will not forget and will keep coming back to you. Derek, I don't say this often, but Derek has mastery of the most infectious chord progressions and melody lines, and this album is available on. It's just a work of art unto itself. This beautiful violet and red swirl vinyl. It's also available on CD, and the album releases on Friday, August 21st. The man has been tortured for over a year and a half. Finally, he shall be released creatively, and it's shared with the whole public. And rock and roll channels, however, can purchase their copies right here, right now. And as Derek's way of thanking you fine fans, we're so thankful that he graciously agreed to sign a limited number of copies on top of it, purchased here on the Rock and Roll Channel, Talk Shop Live. To order your copies, hit the shop button on Talk Shop Live. If you're on Facebook, comment shop, we'll DM you a link. And if you're watching on YouTube, all you have to do is click the link in the description. The rest is quick, easy, and pain-free. unlike the torture I put Derek through the show in the slight arthritic condition he may have developed signing for you fine fans, but I have it on good authority that he is well on his way to recovery, and hurry. There are limited quantities in all seriousness. And I mean this, there's no greater way to show how much you appreciate Derek's brilliant artistry and great pop music than by owning, not streaming, experiencing it a song at a time, as we were talking about earlier, but the body of work, owning a copy of this upcoming release, crossing the Rubicon, and also stick my neck out and say, my email address is steve@talkshop.live. If you don't think this is a great pop record top to bottom, reach out to me and I will make it right. That's how good this is. Derek, man, I think the music speaks volumes. I want to start sharing some of it with the fans. You okay with that?
Yeah, that's great. Thank you so much.
Absolutely, man. So here we go. From Derek Sharp and the Champagne Jam's forthcoming new album, Crossing the Rubicon. Here's the opening track, Red Line. Sam, if you would, please roll the digital.
You know I got a lot to lose, and all I really have to do is cleanse my point of view. Past illusions making on. Are we waiting for someone to tell us all the things we really do about us all? Out of oxygen and imprisoning your head. Easy on the world. It's only a reflection of yourself. You know we're really all the same, fellas. All we have to do is take in love, then send me down.
I'm going to go on a limb and say, Derek, man, you guys broke the budget, man, with all those props, but I love it. It's a great video. I mean, at the end of the day, man, it's a great vibe, man. Other than the fact you seem a little uncomfortable in front of the camera, just an observation.
Yeah.
I love your presence, man. It's infectious, having a lot of fun. It's great. Brilliant opening track. And, you know, I generally don't do this, man. I've done hundreds of these things in the last 5.5 years, and I'm a fan first. But I don't like showing the comparisons, but this track is so catchy, such a feel-good song, guaranteed to put a smile on people's faces. And you talked about Jellyfish. Yeah, it's reminiscent of that. That's just because there's a lot of Jellyfish fans. So if fans haven't heard, about Derek Sharp and the Champagne Jam, it's like if I'm having to explain to somebody, well, if you love Jellyfish, then you're going to love some of this material. Not that there's plagiarism, because I don't feel like any of these songs sound like specifically a Jellyfish song, but there's also some Beatles in here. I also hear 10cc in here, just as far as the vibe. And I hear Queen in some cases too. Again, no plagiarism, just that vibe. So if somebody's describing before I can hear the music, what does this sound like? that's how I would describe it. And I'm like, man, I'm in 100%, sign me up. Great song.
Yeah, thank you. That's really kind of you to say that. I mean, it is a bit of a journey. It's something I noticed. We had a lot of fun making that. Obviously,
Yeah,
we just grabbed stuff that was in the bathroom
but it
to
worked.
take the
It
video,
worked.
and all the doggies. He has 8 dogs, and they just kept running
Yeah,
into the
yeah,
shop.
that's right. This is a good time to also put in a disclaimer. No dogs were injured during.
No, there
Yeah,
was a lot of dog kissing going on. If you
exactly,
keep
exactly.
watching, because they were the stars of the show. It was
Yeah,
it was wonderful, and we always have a good time when we do that. If you look at the other videos, like
I can tell.
Brent's in a lot of them, Eric's in them, and we just make the best of it.
Absolutely.
So,
Flying, man. That's the second track, straight up rock. Love the harmonies, badass guitar break. Again, if I had to describe to people it from a vibe standpoint, not from a specific song, it's like the best of Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers meets Badfinger. These vocals also include the brilliant Jordan. So we got to call that out. So good, man. Insert the mic drop here. Great track.
thanks, Steve.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's hear another one. Keeping it going again from Derek Sharp and the Champagne Jams, forthcoming new album, Crossing the Rubicon. Here's love this one, Lonely Eyes. Once
Oh,
again,
good.
Sam, please roll the digital.
That.
If you tell a lie long enough, you probably believe your words. Yet here I am again with you, trying to make up one last time. She went away. I don't want to know you. I know, but I know lonely eyes. No one only temporarily tied to your life. Lonely eyes. See through all the pain and she lies, and you lie. Oh, you come around now and then. And it's deja vu all over again. Simultaneous happiness and doom. Thinking about love and illusion. I was there when you let her believe you stay. I don't wanna know you. I know, but I know lonely eyes. No, I'm only temporarily tied.
Derek, a light bulb went on after I was listening to this for the third or fourth time. But I have to say, I also heard some elements of Elton John. But what I love about it is that you're not a lazy songwriter. You just like keep amping up the game, and like when you hear the chorus, it takes it to a whole nother level. but then we hear kind of a bridge or, I don't know what you would refer to it exactly as, but sometimes these are like necessary evils that a songwriter says, I got to throw it in. But I sense that you as a songwriter, you're looking at it like whatever part I'm putting in, I got to take it to a whole nother level, man. I got to raise the bar. And you're the furthest thing from a lazy songwriter, man. You just take it to another level. And I think that's what's so great about the songs on this album is that there's all these great influences, but man, you just take it in these different directions, but they all flow and they just keep feeding and driving this energy. And this is a great example of that. And I'm not just feeding him a line. I'm just amazed again at the strength of the songwriting.
Well, this one's interesting because it's always a challenge to put in like different time signatures to make it sound like it's not there. So like this
100% right.
song has goes into a bar of 7 and it does this. And I've always been fascinated by that kind of stuff, how you can do that without anyone noticing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But sometimes when you listen to Rush, it's obvious they're playing in 7 or they're playing in 9 and stuff like that because that's what they do. But
Rush.
when you
Yeah.
take a song like Lonely Eyes or like Money by Pink Floyd, or to me, like some of that stuff, it's I used to love Genesis.
Yeah.
I was a big fan. So, I mean, that's kind of what it reminds me of, even though it doesn't sound anything like Genesis.
But I understand what you're saying.
A lot of that's where it comes from. Like it's there somewhere.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. I mean, the things are no boundaries, but it still has to feel natural as far as the progression.
right. So
Even if you can't explain why.
yeah, you can throw everything in the kitchen sink, but the danger is it starts to sound convoluted. And believe me, I've done that a million times as well. Right?
Well, that's part of the process.
Mhm.
Yeah, absolutely. And speaking of the process, I want to go back to the fans. Nancy D again wants to know if you can describe the song, the sound, of this album. And again, this is a body of work, but it's done one track at a time.
Yeah, I mean, we pretty much covered most of that. I see it as just as kind of power pop. I don't know how else. I don't know
100%.
to
I agree.
explain. It's orchestral and but still kind of poppy in a, or singable. How about
Yeah.
singable?
Yeah, that's good. Carol wants to know what your favorite song is to perform live, and I will say the only time I've asked that question where I ended up getting beat up was a Canadian performer who moved to England that said these are not my babies. I always say like, oh, it's my children. You know, at the end, how do you pick one versus the other? He's like, these aren't children. These are just damn songs. But other than that, everybody else has just said, how can you pick one? I mean, at the end of the day, because each one of them has value and means something to you uniquely.
Oh, I can answer that easily
Can you?
because yeah, because we played 5 of the 6 of them in our show for a couple of years.
Yeah.
It was the ones that everybody sang every night, like the audience. They came to know them, like Plein d'Amour, Headline, People Around Me, and The King. Like those 4, we used to play every night. And after a while, especially Plein d'Amour, like everybody just started singing them.
Yeah.
And that's why they become your favorite song, because it means you're kind of connecting with somebody.
Makes sense.
Like they are just songs, right?
Yeah.
And
Right.
everybody writes songs. There's 100,000 songs a day being put out. Why is yours so special? But it becomes special when somebody gets involved with it.
When it
Even
connects with
if
them.
it's one person, it doesn't matter, right? And that's the whole point.
That's exactly right, for sure. Regina Renner is just saying Plein d'Amour is an amazing album. I was listening to the CD today. And Frank, we talked about the album cover. We absolutely agree with you. It's great. Mila Hiles was having some technical difficulty. Glad you got it back on your laptop and you're back with us. And also Regina said, seen Derek several times. He's always amazing. All I can tell you is that it's the first time I've had interaction with this guy, but listening to this album, this guy is pretty special, and man, he's delivered a special album. I'm not just saying that. Mark Florence is saying, "Hey guys, Derek, new tunes sound great.
Yeah.
Cheers." And Gloria Roth is saying, always enjoy Dee's new music. So good to finally meet in person with Sass. So I don't know if you know who Gloria Roth is, or if we have to issue a cease and desist, but hopefully it's a good experience.
No, I recognize some of the names up here because
Yeah.
some of them used to come to the Guess Who shows, obviously.
Derek, always easier for them to remember than you, in full disclosure, to be fair, for sure. And speaking of fair, man, we're celebrating Derek Sharp and the Champagne Jam's forthcoming release, Crossing the Rubicon, 10 instant classic pop songs, tracks that you will not forget and will keep coming back to you. And this is my own words, and I absolutely am convicted of this. Derek has mastery of the most infectious chord progressions and melody lines. This album demonstrates that. It's available on beautiful violet and red swirl vinyl and also on CD. It's officially released on Friday, August 21st. For Rock and Roll Channel fans on TalkShopLive can purchase their copies right here, right now. And it's Derek's way of thanking you, fine fans. He has graciously agreed to sign a limited number of copies of the vinyl and CD purchased here. Once they're gone, they're gone. To order your copies, hit the shop button on TalkShopLive. If you're watching on Facebook, just comment the word shop and we'll DM you a link. If you're watching on YouTube, click the link in the description. The rest is quick and easy, and there's no greater way to show how much you appreciate Derek's brilliant artistry and the great pop music that he delivers than by owning, not streaming, but by owning a copy of the upcoming release. Plus, it's an heirloom because the man has signed it in addition to music that you keep coming back to. And again, I'm referring to Crossing the Rubicon. Let's check out another track from Derek's forthcoming new album. Here's one of my favorites, Umbrella. Once again, Sam, if you would, please roll the digital.
Yeah.
It looks like rain, and here we go again. I thought I'd never live to see the days of Armageddon, but I don't need to worry, but I don't need, 'cause your smile is my umbrella, and your soul is my umbrella. As the angry winds descended on the ones who only God always depended on, I can feel it, feel all the emptiness as I look across from far away, so far away, away, away. But I don't need to worry, but I don't need, 'cause your smile is my umbrella, and your soul is my umbrella, is
I'll tell you what, this is the part where fans get pissed at me and why I don't give out my home address, because they want to slash my tires, not physically harm me, because I cut off a great freaking
You
track.
bastard.
Yeah, That's exactly right, man. Certified, 100% bastard. But you know what? The second half of it is even better than you can imagine, and I'm here to tell you, you can hear the rest of it by purchasing it here on the Rock and Roll Channel on Talk Shop Live. Man, power pop instant anthem. Derek, fantastic guitar work, wonderful musical twists and turns, massively catchy melody lines, sweet pop vocals. Just love, love, love this track. And this is what I was trying to articulate, maybe not so well before, but I'm talking about sometimes lazy songwriters versus ones that are really committed to their craft. But that chorus just takes it, amps it up to a whole nother level. You don't see it coming, and it just injects a whole nother level of energy, yet it still flows and feels like a natural progression. This song is just a standout.
Thank you, Steve. You should have your own show.
I'm working on it. I won't quit my day job just yet, but one day, who knows?
So, but that's another very interesting point that doesn't just apply to me, it applies to everybody, that you talked about how things progress in a song. And that's the other thing that maybe because I'm old school, I always go with the song keeps going and going and going. So sometimes the most exciting part of the song, you have to wait a minute or two before you hear it. So
that's right.
And juxtaposed with pop, robot auto-tune music that they have now, where they just hit you right away. It's like they got to catch you. You got to catch your attention, immediately, so you'll keep listening. And I get that. I get that. It makes sense because everybody's distracted nowadays. But that's a very interesting point, and I wouldn't have thought of it until you brought it up. So.
Appreciate that. And also I want to touch on, I know that the clock is ticking, man. And, Derek's going to expect something extra in his Christmas stocking. If we go overtime, he's already earned it, for the record.
That's okay. I have this much wine left, so I'm good.
All right. That is a relief. Yeah. Keep the wine flowing, whoever might be on site, please. We're going to check out another track in the outro, Wasting My Time, another great pop track, killer harmonies, outstanding guitar riffing on that front for sure. But they're also Breathe. I want to just call people out when you get this album. Beautiful classic pop ballad, wonderful vocal arrangement, jaw-dropping, really magical Beatle, Paul McCartney-ish bass lines and tone. Again, can't point to a specific Beatles song, but it just has that vibe, man. Top to bottom, man, a pop masterpiece. And then we have Someday, opening kind of vibe of like an Eleanor Rigby string arrangement, but it doesn't sound like Eleanor Rigby, just that vibe. And it also feels like a sister offspring of the Turtles' She'd Rather Be With Me. But I have to tell you, more melodic than that song. Dude, so where you take material, whether it's subconscious or whatever, and you put your stamp on it and you make it that much more special. No plagiarism, here whatsoever in my mind. But I had to call that out.
That's a good call.
Thank you, brother.
I do run around, but they know you want to be with me.
Yeah, but it's kind of like a little bit of a letdown. You want to be with me. You like amp it up. Take it to a whole nother level. Holy ground
is an old man singing. Someday I'm going to be somebody.
Yeah, there you go. Holy ground, man. Bit of a detour, hooks for sure, but a bit more of a rock structure, killer rock vocal. Man, this is like a kind of a welcome shift a little bit because, it feels like a little bit of a different dimension, but it still works.
Well, Holy Ground, that was the co-write. Yeah. So Sass wrote the words to that song. We wrote that song together. And of course she's infinitely a better lyricist than I am. So I knew that when we came up with something, it was going to be a lot deeper than the rest of the stuff. So because we collaborated on as well.
Welcome kind of shift, but still works. And best that I can, solid pop, bit dramatic, kind of a theatrical flair from my perspective. Catchy vocal phrasing, melody, but the back end of this track, total theatrical vibe. And again, cool kind of added element, I think, to the album, but it still works,
Well,
it complements the album.
do you like Tears for Fears?
I do.
We were kind of going for that. I remember we were listening to some Tears for Fears songs we really liked, and
Yeah,
that was kind of inspired. Even it doesn't really sound like it, but that kind of inspired. I'm a huge fan of that too. That I
me
should
too. Makes
use
sense when you describe that. But
Tears.
yeah, I can't point to a specific song.
Mhm, mhm.
Makes sense. And Plein d'Amour, Reprise, killer closing track. Obviously, tied to it's an extension of the 2023 album. I love the morphing into the bridge. I mean, goes back to when I was talking about the mastery of how great of a songwriter I think you are. In that, again, it isn't a letdown because you're just kind of filling in space because you feel like you got to go through the formula. It feels like, I mean, you're morphing into this bridge that takes it to a whole nother level. And then there's this instrumental break, which is spectacular. And then it comes back around. And to me, pop masterpiece, great, no brainer in terms of a closing track.
Yeah, well, that kind of tied into the whole thing. That was, that
Yeah.
tied those two albums together. That's
Yeah.
why it was the Reprise. I didn't want it to sound like the song, but it still had the same message. So,
Absolutely.
yeah,
And
yeah.
speaking of the same message, sorry if I'm redundant, but we're celebrating Derek Sharp and the Champagne Jam's forthcoming release, Crossing the Rubicon. Huge fan. Love this record. This is one of my favorite records of 2026, even beyond. Top to bottom, 10 instant pop classics. The man has delivered a great record. I will stick my neck out and say, if you don't like this record, contact me at steve@talkshop.live. I'll make it right. That's how good of a record it is. Derek has mastery of the most infectious chord progressions and melody lines. I'll keep repeating that till you people stop listening to me. The album is available on beautiful violet and red swirl vinyl and also on CD. And it's available officially Friday, August 21st for Rock and Roll Channel fans, and Talk Shop Live can purchase their copies right here, right now. And it's Derek's way of thanking you, fans. And this will be an heirloom, man. This man has got something special. He's got a gift. He's graciously agreed to sign a limited number of copies, both vinyl and CD, here on Talk Shop Live. To order your copies, hit the shop button on Talk Shop Live. And if you're watching on Facebook, comment the word shop. And if you're watching on YouTube, click the link in the description. The rest is quick and easy. And no greater way to show how much you appreciate the brilliant artistry of one Derek Sharp, but also great pop music in general, because that's what this is. Derek, what does the balance of the year hold for you? Anything you can share with us?
I cut my lawn.
Looking forward to that, man. Hopefully, see that posted on YouTube.
Well, it's so busy. I have, after this week, I do have a couple of weeks off, and I actually, I don't know if I'm going to do it or not, but I have about 6 songs so far, and
Love it.
I'm gonna probably keep going, and and of course we're working on the show we're gonna play next year. It looks like we got Brent will be involved. He's gonna partner with me, and I don't have much to say about it yet, but that's what we're gonna do. So
will that be a North American shows?
Yep, yeah, U.S. mostly U.S., Canada, and then the rest of this year I'm still doing the stuff that I talked about before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, fair enough. I want to thank all the fans, by the way, for being here, and those that are going to experience this when we post it after the live stream, and we get many fans after the fact. But thank you all for your love and support. And I'm telling you, this record, the man is absolutely delivered. Also, special thanks to Charlie Cow from Deco Entertainment for for snapping me out of my power pop coma, delivering this pop masterpiece. Without him, we wouldn't have connected with Derek. And I'm so grateful for that as a fan, as well as an entrepreneur. And also thanks to Medicine as well for helping to do what you do on the social side. And to Brian, Sandy, Tina, Brad, Joe, Kathy, Marty, Kate, Brendan behind the scenes is always doing a great job. Sam, all from Talk Shop Live. But most importantly, big thanks. I bow to the man, the myth, the legend, Derek Sharp, for continuing to provide his musical gifts and for this brilliant album. Truly, Derek, before we part, any last words you'd like to share with the fans out there?
Well, first of all, I mean, Steve, thank you for all the kind words. I'm a bit embarrassed by it, but it was really nice to see some of the people on here. I have some great memories with some of these people, and I'm really happy that everyone showed up today. So how about
Outstanding.
That? And I miss everybody.
And you earned those words, by the way, sir.
Yeah. It's wonderful.
And with that, I just want to let everybody know.
Sorry, my granddaughter just texted me while I was
Did
saying.
She said, "Granddad, you're dead to me for not acknowledging my existence." Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Family
anyway.
first.
Yeah. She must be watching.
That's a good sign, man. There is hope for the future, man. I'm happy about that. And I want to, again, thank all the fans for being here. And also remind them, pick up the new forthcoming album from Derek Sharp and the Champagne Jam entitled Crossing the Rubicon at the Rock and Roll Channel Talk Shop Live, personally autographed by the man himself, Derek Sharp. He's absolutely, man, a treasure, and so thankful that he's sharing these gifts, and so thankful to hear he's already got 6 or so songs in the can. There is hope for the future. While you're at it, pick up copies for friends and family. Music and art is a gift that keeps on giving, one that will last a lifetime. Your friends and family will thank you for it. You know what? You worked hard for it as well. Spread the gospel of Derek Sharp and the Champagne Jam. It's really important, man. We got to keep the art alive. And you worked hard this year. You deserve it. I have it on good authority. This album will enhance everyone's quality of life. And again, if you like what we're doing here, check out TalkShopLive to view hundreds of the very best artists, just like Derek Sharp, who have autographed their albums just for you, man. I can't think of a pretty special connection. Derek, man, it's so great to hang out with you. Pleasure and honor to meet you. I hope we can do this again, man. Big fan.
Anytime, Steve. Thank you. And thank you for the kind words. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, you well deserved, my friend. And with that, everyone, stay safe, enjoy life. Don't leave just yet, because we're going to play one last track. Rock on. So long, everybody. Thanks again, Derek.
Thank you. Okay. Ciao for now.
My sensors indicate that you are not telling the truth.
Turned out pretty good. Humble and benign. But to my dismay, your eyes betrayed you and torn my world apart. 'Cause I'm wasting my time. Never gonna call. Your pain and the vicious campaign.